So tables are another really great feature in Microsoft Excel, and they just assist with managing and analyzing information. So to allocate an official Microsoft Excel table, we can select your data that you'd like to allocate into a table, go to the Insert tab, and click the Table button. We're going to include headers because we have headers selected. If not, if you don't have headers included, Microsoft Excel will add them for you, and they must have a unique name. You can't have duplicate names in your header columns. This is due to referencing the table, which we'll discuss later. So click OK and you'll get the nice pretty formatting here. And notice only when I click inside the table we get the Design tab up here. Design tab only visible when you have cells selected within the table, not when you don't. And so here you can manage all the fancy stuff within your table, including the format. This is your default format, alternating blue and white rows, which I happen to like. But if you click on Format or Quick Styles over here, you can hover over all these alternate options. Also, if you can create a custom style with the option down here in the menu. To be honest, this is a little bit cumbersome, but it is very powerful and you can create a lot of customizations depending on what you need. So also within the format, kind of the visual aspect of the table, you'll see as I hover my cursor over the very top area here, it turns into that arrow. If I click that arrow, it selects the column. Click again, it includes the header. Same thing with all columns, obviously. Similar thing happens with the rows. The arrow, it's kind of hard to invoke, but if you have a real large table, this is a nice feature to select either the row or the column. And also up here in the top left, you can select the entire table, and then including the headers. Another way to do all this is with hotkeys. Shift space does the row, Control space does the columns, and then Control A does the entire area. So now watch as I press Control space once, it does just the data body range of the column. Press it again, it'll include the headers. Press it again, it'll include the entire column within the whole sheet. Same thing with Shift space for the rows. Same thing with Control A for the area and the table and then the entire sheet. Now how do I keep the Shift space and the Control space hotkeys straight? Well, the Shift key looks more like a row because it's wider than the Control button, and so that's how I understand that it'll select the entire row. So back to naming conventions and naming columns in the table. So I'm going to click on the table, we'll go up to the Design tab, and here's the name of the table, Table 1. And so you can foresee that if you have 40 or 50 tables in a workbook, it may be difficult to distinguish the difference between Table 44 and Table 45. And so therefore it's good practice to establish a nice descriptive naming convention for all your tables. So typically what I do is I give the table a name that obviously describes what's in the table, but I also give it a prefix that will indicate which sheet it's on or maybe which category of tables it belongs to. So I'll just type SH1 to abbreviate sheet 1, and then I'll just name the table name. Now, why does naming a table even matter? What would we ever leverage the name for? Let's do a quick sum product formula here, and let's just use the first column and the second column. So as typical, when you're typing a function like this, you can select the cells and it automatically types for you the reference to those cells. Now note when I come down here to select the cell in the 12th row, it's going to automatically change the nomenclature to be the table nomenclature because we have selected the actual column in this table, which corresponds to this nomenclature here, sheet 1 square bracket index. Index is the name of the column header. So we'll do that again for the values. Here's just the cell references, and it should auto snap to the values. Very, very convenient. And so when I type enter, this will be the sum product of both of those columns, 29, 45. Let's do a different example. We can put different things than just the column header names in those brackets. So sum sh1 tab square bracket. Now we can do all of the cells in the table, just the data, the headers, the totals, or even this row. So let's do the data of the table. So I'm going to select this, hit tab, and when I close the bracket, you'll see that the actual cells that what I've typed refers to will be highlighted, just like normal. Whoops. So here's the data of the table. So I'm going to close my parentheses, 655 is the sum. Now last thing I'll showcase here with the formulas, let's just sum. We'll showcase the last item, sheet 1, square bracket. Let's go down to this row. So all this corresponds to is just the row in the table that matches the row in the cell that we're typing the formula into. So 72. Now I want to copy this down, and so you see that these formulas are the exact same. The syntax is the exact same. The @ sign makes the sum function yield a different result because we're summing different rows. So now, okay, we can do all of this just with regular absolute or relative references to the addresses of the cells. Why do we want to actually reference the cells with the table nomenclature outside of it being more descriptive? Well, here's a great reason why. So I'm going to type in 11 right here. Note that when I press enter, the table will actually auto-include this new row because I'm typing it just directly below the table. It's going to know that I mean to add that to the table, and correspondingly, these two formulas, the 2945 and the 655, will automatically change because, again, the table has updated to include this new row. Very, very cool. Now I'll add a 33. Look, I mean, this is just so easy. So these table nomenclatures really, really make managing your information very, very easy. Last thing I'll mention is just the subtotals row. Let's go back into the table, design tab. You can click the total row. By default, I think it's summing. We can count the values, we can average the values, etc.